So today we are discussing what makes an exemplary person, and we're linking this thought with Saint George and what makes a good saint or a person to become a saint. What makes an exemplary person?
Be kind. Be helpful. Show respect. Be polite. Believe in the saints. Be nice.
Do you think Saint George was all of these things?
No, because all saints can't be perfect.
So he was quite normal. But what made him be chosen to be a saint, do you think?
Because he stuck up for the Christians. Because I believe in yourself. Be the best you can be. Persevere.
That's a very good point, Andrea. I like
nice.
that.
He was always nice to his people.
Was he always nice though? Because remember, he was in the Roman army.
Sometimes.
So he is still a saint, but he was in the army, which meant he probably had to do things that we wouldn't put on the list for an exemplary person. What kind of things do I think?
I agree with Edwards because they are all different. Some are bad, some are good.
The saints, different saints. Can you think of any bad saints, George?
St. George was bad.
Was he bad? What did he
He was
do that was
bad
bad?
and good.
What did he do that was bad?
He was fighting.
Okay, but I'm challenging your opinion now, George, because I actually think, yes, he was fighting, but what was he fighting for?
The Christians.
So does that make him a good person or a bad person?
He made him a good person because he was sticking up for them as well.
So an exemplary person might be someone who sticks up for others' beliefs.
Try not to be angry because other people might be coming and maybe not make them go angry as well.
Oh, that's interesting, Ryan. I like that opinion because what you're saying is actually if somebody else is angry, that would make you angry, whereas if you're calm, that makes them calm. An exemplary person might be very good at doing that, judging the feeling, the mood. It's very good.
Be helpful to people so they become saints as well.
Oh, so not just keeping it all for yourself or the goodness, sharing your beliefs and what you actually think is a good way to live. I think a lot of saints may have done that, Anya. They may have shared the way they thought was a good way to live with other people.
Don't be selfish.
He definitely gave up a lot. Other saints like Mother Teresa didn't have any kind of things. She didn't have any computer games or anything, no TV, or she would just live in one item of clothing and a very minimal life.
I disagree with Katie because St. George was a bit of both because he was fighting the other people and he was protecting the Christians.
That's lovely, Anya. Would anyone like to challenge that opinion?
You have to help other people.
Help other people. So we've had being selfless, which means not being selfish, helping other people, showing other people how to live a good life. These things might be part of being an exemplary person, do we think? Anything else?
George did he fight the Christians then?
He fought for the Christians. He stuck up for the Christians.
He wasn't in our army then. What year did he fight?
That was part of the crusade, so they were fighting for land, I think.
Oh.
So what you're thinking there, Freddie, is doing a bit of good, a bit of bad. So we're still thinking about an exemplary person. We're saying that they're selfless. They teach other people how to be good. Are these qualities that we have in ourselves?
No, because I don't really know, because there's one day he was good, then the other day he was bad.
So that sounds quite normal, Jake, doesn't it? All of us have days like that, I think. Do we have the potential? Could we possibly become exemplary people? People who are very selfless and living the right way. What is the right way?
George died in 1616.
He did. It's a good fact.
Well, he was brave and he gave up his life for the Christians because he got his head chopped off. But because people was killing the Christians, he saved them by killing them, and he didn't think it was right, so he killed himself.
Okay, you're almost there, Katie. You've got a nice thought about being an exemplary person. He gave up his own life in the end to stick up for Christians, for other people, and what he believed was the right thing to do. And that's very saintly, isn't it? And you said the word brave, and I think being brave might be on that list of being an exemplary person.
George's birthday is on the 23rd of April. Saints aren't always perfect.
That's interesting, Jess. I'd like to challenge that opinion. Why do you think they're not always perfect?
Because sometimes they can be bad, sometimes they can be good.
Because they're human beings, aren't they? And it's tricky to be perfect all the time, isn't it?
They have bad days and good days. Like Jess said, they're not always perfect because they might make mistakes.
Lovely, and it's okay to sometimes make mistakes, isn't it? But that won't stop them being an exemplary person. Perhaps they, most of the time, do the right thing. Is there anybody here?
Saint George was good, and yes, he did help all the Christians, although he did fight. Why did he only protect the Christians?
Because that was his faith that he believed in, and they were being killed by the emperor because they weren't doing as they were told by the emperor. They were believing in their own faith.
If you're going to be an exemplary person, you should never act bad, because if you do, you won't be able to be an exemplary person.
I'm going to challenge that opinion, George, and just say, do you think most people try to be an exemplary person most of the time? I think most people try to. So we're saying that St. George perhaps wasn't perfect, but he did try to be a good person.
St. George could have been bad because he could have fighted Christians, Romans.
He fought in the Roman army, that's what you're saying. Yes, he did. Okay.
How many people were different religions in
Good question.
that city?
Very good question, Ryan. And I don't know the answer. However, I do know that St. George was particularly sticking up for the Christians, but in doing so, he didn't kill other religions because of it. He was just fighting against the emperor.
Another word for brave, like glorious, maybe?
This is another word for brave. I'm excited. Because
Independent.
both of those. Casper independently was quite independent. He did it on his own. That's rather nice. And the orange tree, you're quite right, Izzy, it protected him, didn't it? In the story it protected him. In real life it was his faith.
The orange tree wasn't real, it's only in the myth.
The dragon represents the
Represents the Christians.
And the dragon in the myth represents the emperor.
So by looking at the painting, can we see how George is an exemplary person?
Yeah.
How can we see it? Ready?
Because he's looking at the Christians.
There's lots of symbols in the painting, isn't there?
Yeah.
Lots of symbols of different meanings, and we know about those meanings.
St. George liked saving people like the people because he didn't want them to feel how to get eaten.
The emperor was a bad person for this, and then the Christians.
And actually, Dylan, in the painting, he's represented looking quite ferocious and evil, isn't he, that dragon?
Yours is brave and he sticks up for what is right for
Possibly.
people.
So actually there's another sign of bravery from George, isn't it? If he knew his head was going to be chopped off, and he was obviously very brave about it. And he did it to stick up for those Christians. Exemplary person, I think.
I know, like, how they chopped his head off. So there's there's this circle, and you put your head through, and then so there's a bucket underneath your heads, and then the man chops it off with an axe.